From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Mark Carney is set to have his second meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump in the Oval Office today, as the Prime Minister balances the expectations of Canadians with the realities of achieving any tariff relief.
President Donald Trump was asked Monday about the meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney, and he indicated his commitment to tariffs while also boasting about companies leaving Canada and moving to the United States. Some experts are tempering expectations about what might come out of today's White House meeting, but they say it's about playing the long game. Director of Johns Hopkins University Center for Canadian Studies, Christopher Sands, says he'll be watching to see if there's a sign from the Trump administration that it will reciprocate what Carney's put on the table. Trump has continued to hit Canada with an increasing list of devastating duties. Kelly Malone, the Canadian Press, Washington.
As a province-wide strike by Alberta's teachers enters day 2, a Labour expert says the strike by 51,000 members of the Alberta Teachers Association is the largest Labour walkout the province has ever seen. While visiting Montreal yesterday, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith pushed for negotiations to resume.
We are always ready to go back to the bargaining table. The teachers set this arbitrary deadline of October 6th, and we've asked them to call off the strike and to come back to negotiating.
The two sides are at odds over wages, working conditions, and class sizes. Freedom Convoy leaders Tamara Lich and Chris Barber will be in court in Ottawa today to learn their sentences for their roles in the protest that blockaded the city's downtown for a few weeks in early 2022. In April, both Lich and Barber were found guilty of mischief, while Barber was also convicted of counseling others to commit mischief. The noisy and crippling protest drew hundreds of trucks and thousands of people to downtown Ottawa in an effort to get all COVID-19 public health measures lifted. The Crown asked at the July sentencing hearing that Leach be sentenced to 7 years in prison and that Barber get 8 due to the broad community harm the protest inflicted on Ottawa residents. Defense attorneys are seeking absolute discharges, arguing their clients have been punished enough by 3.5 years of strict bail conditions. And the Toronto Blue Jays have put the New York Yankees on the brink of elimination ahead of tonight's Game 3 of their American League Division Series. As the series switches to the Bronx, some diehard Canadian fans will be cheering for the Blue Jays from inside Yankee Stadium. Among them will be Jeffrey Meisen, a public school teacher originally from Ontario, but who has lived in New York State for over 2 decades. He says he's been a Jays superfan since the age of 10.
I used to be scared to wear my jersey to the games. Depending on where you're sitting, it's not always wise to wear opposing team jerseys. But when it's the Blue Jays, I have to.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Toronto Blue Jays worked out at Yankee Stadium in preparation for playoff Game 3 tonight against New York. It's do-or-die time for the Yankees. The Blue Jays won the first 2 games of their American League Division Series at Rogers Centre, and one more win will move them to the AL Championship Series. Manager John Schneider says he'd like his players to stay consistent after their solid weekend.
The series is far from over. We're coming into a tough place to play against a really good pitcher and a really good team.
The Jays will send MLB veteran Shane Bieber to the mound. The Yankees will counter with Carlos Rodon. Monday night, the National League Division Series were played, and the winners now have 2-0 leads. The Milwaukee Brewers beat the Chicago Cubs 7-3, and the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers edged Philadelphia 4-3. In NBA preseason action, the Toronto Raptors lost to the Denver Nuggets 112-108 at Vancouver's Rogers Arena. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.